All right. How's everybody doing tonight? I am trying to make this rigid. It wiggles too much, so we're adding this full Persian chain around the edge, and gonna see if that makes it keep its shape. So I was working on this last night and finally finished it up today. I'm pretty happy with it, but it's not as rigid as I want it to be. So before I go and start like trying to shorten this section, I'm gonna add this full Persian chain and see if that don't fix our problem. The camera showing is to either not on or is not up on screen. The cam, let's see here. This one? Can you see me now? Hi, Tanker Monk. I just had a problem with settings. It may be Twitch. Let's turn this one on and off. See if he responds. Alright, so this is just kind of a pain in the butt to get this through. You were holding it up, but it was to the wrong camera maybe. So, can you see my hands now? I guess I have to ask. Oh, I see. Okay. You're seeing this camera, and I was holding it up to a camera over there. I gotcha. Sorry. There's this little section here that I'm going to tighten up if this doesn't make it work. Anyway, that's the problem with streaming to multiple platforms and trying to get everybody to be able to see everything you do. One day I will just operate on my computer only, and anybody watching on TikTok can help me out with that by following along and clicking all the buttons, copying the links, sharing the live, tapping the hearts, because that is what puts me out in front of the FYP, and that is that will help me grow my channel. I've only got 3,200 followers to go until I hit 10,000, which will let me use the proprietary software in TikTok. And so once I have that set up, then I can use all my overhead cams and computer webcams and maybe use my phone as a bonus cam. Yeah, that's why I have multiple cameras. You have the understanding now? Yeah. Alright, thank you for the follows, guys. I do appreciate it. Thank you for the share. That one went smoothly. The other thing is, I don't know how long I've got. I'm going to have to lengthen this chain, but that'll be alright. It's just kind of, nothing wants to fit, which is fine. I don't expect it to. But I know it'll fit. So, and then we'll make it the proper length and get it all the way around. Just through the three, like this. These 3 points right here, it's already tightened up. I think this is going to be a good fix. So, anyway, how's everybody doing? Anything exciting happened today? Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. I've just been working... Wow, I just spit all over the place. I've just been working on this. Trying to figure out what other small projects I've got going on. I do have one bracelet to make and another sculpture to work on. So once I finish with this, then I'll get out the other sculpture. So other than that, and my dog chewing on my wood floor, just a nice quiet evening. Come on. Had a mid-lunch, or a mid-afternoon nap. That was nice. Alright. I bridge, but I heard lots of different opinions, so that's kind of crazy. Okay, I'm going to stop here and lengthen this a little bit more. So anyway, I'm using, come on, blackened stainless steel and regular stainless steel to make this. And I've got two 3-inch craft rings inside here. I don't know how well you can see those. Right there. Two 3-inch craft rings right there. And it was still a little loose once I put this on. So we're just trying to tighten it up a little more. And it's gonna, essentially, it's gonna look like that when it's all done. Right? That's kind of cool. I don't quite have the right lighting in here. I am going to work on getting more lighting for everyone watching. The cameras do not pick up the blackened stainless hardly at all. So, for that I apologize. But it is what it is. Lots of new stuff coming to the stream eventually. This is by far the, what do you call it? The most advanced stream so far. I used to stream with just a laptop webcam, and that was pretty bad. So it's slowly gotten better over the years. It's coming together. Oh wow, thank you for all the follows and shares, guys. I appreciate that. I think last night was, I didn't have too many viewers last night, and then like the last 5 minutes, because I usually only stream till about 10:30 sometimes, and like the last 5 minutes I'd only had one viewer for like 15-20 minutes or something like that, maybe 2 viewers, and then all of a sudden, next thing I know, I've got like 15-20 people watching, and I'm like saying goodnight. It is what it is. Sometimes we have good nights streaming, and sometimes we have bad nights. There is I think my best stream, I had some 150 people chilling, and I got like 80 follows in one stream. That was cool. Good nights like that, right? Make it so that you want to do this more. All right. So for anyone who hasn't been here before, my name's Sean. I run mailworks.com. I design and sell chainmail themed apparel and accessories. And it's all print products. You won't find any of the chainmail stuff I have for sale on my website. It's all, where's my little dog hoodie? Excuse me. These aren't up on the website yet, but we're working on it. Right? Chainmail. It's got a place for your leash. It's got a pocket. Right? This is a test print. It came out pretty well, but it doesn't fit either of my dogs, so. But stuff like this, hoodies, blankets, other cool stuff, coffee cups. So I design and sell chainmail print apparel and accessories, and I make chainmail. I've been doing so for the better, going on 3 decades now. Now, of course, I wasn't very good when I got started, but I do okay now, right? I'm pretty good after 28 years. So, and I just stream because every now and then we'll get someone in here who's really fascinated by what I'm doing, and they'll be like, I want to learn how to do that too. And so if you think, hey, I can open and close rings and learn different patterns, and you want to know how to do that, in the link tree in my bio is, now open up a different tab for this, but in the link tree in my bio are links to the Mailworks app. It's a resource I made. It's free, and it's got all the resources I would have wanted when I first got started making chainmail 28 years ago. Resources were scarce, and I didn't know. Deadpool Scan, how you doing? I didn't know how to use the internet back then, so even if there were resources, I wasn't able to find them. I did find some. I did manage to learn a few different weaves and whatnot, but it wasn't until I found the Ringlord website in 2004 that any of this really took off. So, but yes, if you are watching and you want to learn how to do this, the best place to get started is go download the Mailworks app and start perusing all the resources in there. All right, Deadpool Scan, how are you tonight? That's actually like really close. Okay. Great, and yourself, my man? I'm doing all right. Had a pretty good day. Knocked out this project. Trying to give it some rigidity so it isn't doing this, right? Trying to diminish that as much as possible. I don't know how in reality, no, I don't know how much I'm really going to be able to diminish the movement, but we'll just, I don't know. This, I'm probably not going to make too many attempts. I'm probably going to put this full Persian chain around this and then call it good enough. So, and then I have some other sculptures to work on. A sculpture that I had made, but I really kind of used the wrong ring size for part of it. And so, and it got really dirty. It's aluminum, and like all the rings were just gross. I don't know what happened, but I took it all apart, and now I'm going to put it back together at some point. Much more complicated contraption than you ever conceived of. Yeah, well, I mean, sure, but also note that this is like the 3rd installment of this idea, right? If you go back in my videos, there were, at first it started out just like a small square, right, of rings and rings making a weave. Then it was 2 small squares interlocked, and it looked ugly, and I couldn't really get it to show the different, you know, the 2 separate pieces of the regular stainless and the blackened stainless. It just kind of looked like a blob. So I got tired of looking at it fairly quickly, and I was like, all right, let me try this one more time here. So and now we're here. I think I just need to fair practice and repetition. Yeah. Well, and also just the whole concept of, if you're working on something and you get stumped, set it down, walk away, work on something else for a while, and then come back to it after you've had some time to think about it or you have a new idea for it. For this one, I got a new idea. This is actually, if you look up there, you can see my logo. This is actually my logo, right? So for viewers over here, it's the spinning thing right there. Okay, this is my logo minus the full Persian chain. That's not actually part of it. Make sure this is as tight as I can make it. Is the camera shaking or the table? It's the table. Sorry. I am banging this piece around trying to get it put together. So my apologies. It's the ring light, the way it's set up. It's too big for the desk. And so I don't have a way to change it or make my phone more secure. Right? No worries. You love the content. Thank you. We're actually so close. All we got to do is connect these two ends together, which is going to be difficult, not going to lie. Okay. Yeah, these are right there. All right. Here is the real tricky part. Okay? Connecting these two ends together while it's wrapped around. It's hard enough to connect the ends of chains, right? But when they're in such a tight spot like this, this is going to be fun. All right. Ages back to some steel, more recently some aluminum, mainly for box necklaces. Very inspiring to see. You've made full Persian and Byzantine. Is there any weaves you recommend for jewelry? Well, full Persian and Byzantine. Half Persian, 3-in-1, half Persian, 4-in-1. Pencil weave. Let's see here. Other chain weaves. Farrar's Cade. Right? If you want to learn how to make all of those, you can check out the In the Mailworks app in the link in my bio. There is links to the Google and Apple stores for the Mailworks app. And there's a tutorial section in there, and that gives you all of the places I know where you can find chainmail tutorials. Right? I really want to do this. Or is that too tight? How much slack do I have in this? So, as far as like just your regular chain weaves go, you know, there's probably 100 different chain weaves. And you just pick one and make something out of it. Oh, here's a good one. Here, I will show you this one. This is called this is inverted round, and inside of this is a leather cord. So it's technically captive inverted round. If I can zoom in on that. And now focus. Come on, focus for me. There we go. Oh, it's working. There. So that's inverted round with a leather cord down the middle. There you go. That's a good chain weave. Okay. Very nice. You've been working on making jewelry to sell in your area and there isn't much traction. Any tips? Well, it's probably the event that you're going to. Right? Like the expectation of the people walking through the doors, do they know what you make, how much time it takes, how much energy it takes, what it costs? I know here at Bristol Renaissance Festival, I talked to the owner or the people who run it. Captain Fuzzy Bear comes on and says hi sometimes. I've done some visits to their booth and everything. Nice people. They said that they had to educate their audience over the course of years as to why chainmail was so expensive and time and the cost of materials and the time put into it, right? So I would spend if there's some way to, if you're working on something while you're at your booth or whatever, that's definitely a good start. That way people can see what you're doing. Okay. So I think I can mush these two together. I'm trying to get a little more slack here. And then have a variety of pieces to sell, right? So like a few $200, $300, $400 pieces, and then like a lot of $20 or less pieces. I won't do business with Etsy ever. I've done it, and I think my thoughts on Etsy are pretty well known, but I find them to be a disgusting company. So personally, me, I don't list anything on there. All right, I'm gonna try and see if I can't figure out how to connect these, because that's the other the other real trick, right? Is I think what I want to do. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? Here. Is Etsy worse than a flea market? No, probably not. I definitely don't think that you'll get what you're trying to sell. I don't think you'll get the price for it at a flea market, to be honest. Right? Okay, so every item I've ever sold on Etsy, like all 4 of them, I was charged a whole bunch of random stuff. And so maybe it's my fault because I'm pricing stuff wrong, but it really didn't feel that way. It just felt like Etsy was ripping me off with things that I didn't ask for, like the whole you have to participate in advertising, right? So you get charged for it even though you click the box that says you don't want it. And what ended up happening is I ended up paying for people to buy products from me. So I was losing money on it. I was like, this is nuts. And I got out of there. I can't say anything about Go Imagine or whatever Michael's new marketplace is. I've never worked on there. But yeah, it cost me money to sell stuff on Etsy. And I thought I had figured all the additional price stuff. And I was oh so very wrong. Okay. I'm going to do that one more time. Have I ever done micromail? Sure. Yeah, if I see an Etsy ad, usually avoid clicking on it and just search the user manually. I don't know. I try to avoid Etsy unless it's like the last place or the only place I can find something. But as far as micromail is concerned, okay, the smallest I've worked with is like 20 gauge, or no, 24 gauge 1/16. But like this is 20 gauge 1/8, and that's pretty tiny, right? That's probably my best example within reach. So there is no standard definition of micromail or macromail. I like to use it's like if you're using a, so how does this saying go? I've got this written down because I'm going to put it on a t-shirt, right? So if you're using a piece of wire as your mandrel to wrap your coils, that's micromail, right? And if you're using the mandrel as a wire to make your rings, right? You're making big rings with a mandrel, that's macromail. And there's a more clever way to say it, but that's, I've got it written down somewhere because I'm going to put it on a t-shirt at some point. So I know people who've done like 28 gauge, 32 gauge, right? They're, I think, I want to say Stephen Hoffman has probably gotten as small as 40 gauge wire. Okay, what am I doing here? Go through. Come on. These big pliers are like really bulky. Down through the center here. Sorry, I'm like trying to get this in the right place. So, and then I have another friend, I don't know if he's hanging out, John. He has done some micromail on some pretty small gauges as well. But the thing with micromail is that I'm 40 something, 42, and so I don't have the eyesight anymore to do that stuff. So I don't try. 20 gauge, 22 gauge, that's about as small as I'm willing to go. Oh, he was right there. Come on. Oh, get it, get it, get it. Oh, yeah, there we go. Come on. All right, that's 2 of 4. 2 more rings, and this will be all done. You make so with 4mm iron rings, and it's wonderful and frustrating all at the same time? Yeah. Like legit iron? That's cool. Okay. That's a material I've never worked with. Just like raw iron. Well, that one went in pretty easy. Working with this ring size with these pliers is very dangerous just because they're not built for this wire gauge. This is 16 gauge wire, and these are not built for that. But for this small little work here, you have to keep demagnetizing your pliers, I'll bet. How to go about doing this? All right, last ring, and then this is D-O-N-E, done. Come on. I better learn this technique because I got a lot of closing full Persian coming up in my future. Come on. There we go. Not quite perfect, but good enough for government work, and that's much more rigid than it was earlier. Yeah, a little change of pace. How you doing, Magenta? Okay. So I was hoping to get it to where I didn't have this full Persian chain going all the way around the outside, because then it would be an exact copy of my logo up there. This Smitty thing right there. But this is still pretty cool. I'm happy with it. It uses up rings. It's a sculpture, and it's kind of what I'm hoping to move into. It's just large chainmail pieces. Okay, there is, not counting the full Persian chain on the outside, right? Because I don't know how many rings that is. I didn't count it up, but there's 4,700 rings plus in the center section. So that'll look nice on the wall. How do I find a fair price for my work? Okay. So if somebody wants something from me, in order for me to even start working on it, it's I'll give them a quote and it's half down, right? For me to even start. Then like pricing is just your hourly rate plus materials, right? So figure out what you want to pay yourself, and then add your material cost, right? People do it like 3 times materials, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of different little, I don't know what you call them, formulas that people have. But mine is my hourly rate plus materials. Okay? And that's, I don't know, it works. I'm not in a position where I have to price negotiate anything. Right? Hourly plus materials plus 20% overhead. That's a good way to do it. Right? And I don't go to festivals or fairs or anything right now. Probably not in the future either. I will eventually, hopefully by next year, take commissions and stuff. Right? Their homeowners insurance, all that's figured into their pricing. So it just depends on where you're at. At the end of the day, okay, something will sell for what someone is willing to pay for it. Okay? So price high. And if someone wants to offer you, X amount, take a lower offer. You run into people who don't think the jewelry you make is worth more than 10 to 15 bucks. I don't know what your jewelry looks like, so I couldn't give an opinion on whether or not they're right or anything, but you're going to run into that no matter what you do. Someone's always going to think that what you make is worth less than the time and energy it took you to make it. Now, with that said, not everything, like, no one's going to buy this. You know how much time and energy I put into this? A ridiculous amount. A stupid amount. This is a waste of my time. Mostly, except that I wanted to use up these rings and make something to look at out of them, right? So, you're going to run into that everywhere. And that's just the way it works with customers. I've dealt with that enough to know that. You're going to run into people who think they'll see your work and they'll be like, oh, I can make that at home. Or, oh, I've got a friend they'll take a picture of your work and send it to their friend for them to make. So, I can't comment as to the quality of your work. But if it's something you're concerned about, you're doing something right. Okay? This actually turned out pretty cool. I'm pretty happy with this. Looks like a pupil, an eyeball. Yeah, it's all done, creator. That means a lot, thank you. You're welcome. I mean, I hope it helps. It's just, you know. As people who make stuff, we also have the bias that, hey, we put X amount of this, of energy into this, and we think it's worth X because we poured our blood, sweat, and tears into it. And there are just people out there. I want to throw this at someone so bad. It's got a nice hand hook here. But I won't. All right. Let me grab my next project. Does it really help? Like, does that make sense? I hope it does. All right, 2 seconds here. What is this? Am I going to add to this? No. This is finished. This is going up on the wall. Okay. So this pile was a sculpture that I had made, and it was too tight. The rings would not fit. And then it got dirty. And then I ordered a larger ring size to hopefully make everything fit. So now we're going to put it all back together. Really does. Hearing someone who understands, talks about it, and give input is refreshing. Good. Good. Okay, I don't need this pair of pliers. Trying to remember how I did this. Surely that's not right. Maybe that's the solution. All right. Yeah, pricing's, it's just one of those things that you got to figure out what you're comfortable with. Okay, you can think it's worth millions, but then it doesn't sell. I've always found that you going higher than what you think the item will sell for and being open to negotiation works. Be good at negotiating, though, also. One piece might be bigger. They all should be the same size, though. Should be. I don't know. I'm just going to put this back together. I'm not going to pay attention to what I'm doing, because that's how I made it the first time, and I am not going to change. What I'm trying to do... It was like a... First, it was like a burrito, and then the ends were rolled up, and then it was like hollow in the middle, right? This big aluminum thing. And it's like, what do you do with that? So, I don't know. But I have all these rings, and I needed to do something with them. So, what I'm going to try and do is make a nice sculpture to put on top of it. I probably should have tumbled these a bit longer. That's okay. At least they're not like gunky. So, yeah, it's probably just the angle. They should all be the same. Who knows? But it took me, I don't know, a day and a half to take this apart. Shouldn't take that long to put it back together. And it's just like a stand, is what it looked like. What did John send me? What is this? Come on. Alright, I'll have to... Stream is not showing John's comments. Oh, hey. No, I don't have a sonic cleaner yet. Micro is micrometer, right? Yeah. Micromail is when you use a micrometer to measure your wire. You love the diamond patch of the rings, though? Yeah, so this originally, this weave, if you want to call it that, I'll give you a close-up in a second, is an inverted elf weave. Right? So if you look at the seam here, right here, okay, see how the rings are facing the opposite direction? Okay. Usually in regular elf weave, they face the same direction. Right? And I first used this on a set of sleeves I made for a friend's highwayman's coat. And I made like this argyle pattern on his shoulders, and it's a cool weave. Oh, you know what? Actually, I just used it on my saddlebags too. The whole diamond pattern thing. That's actually a better example than this. So, if you want to see that, I can show you. Yeah, you could make like a whole argyle shirt using this. It'd be a little tricky to fit it, but you could definitely do it. One, two, three. What have I done? That was wrong. So I was screwing around with this weave, and what I ended up with was like this stand, right? Like you would put something on top of it. It was like a display stand. And that was cool, except not all the rings fit correctly. So what I'm going to do now is piece all these back together and then use the larger rings on the outside of this display stand. I'm going to just rebuild what I tore apart, right? And hopefully all the rings will fit without issue. Okay, the trick is going to be getting it all together and having it come out the same. But what I really should have done... never mind. Maybe it'll all just shut down. What about this down here? Drop frame rate, blah, blah, blah. What is going on? Why is there no connection? What happened to my Wi-Fi? This is garbage. Okay, there's the Wi-Fi. It still just says no connection on here. Well, what the heck? I hate streaming from my phone and in the basement. Like the... actually, you know what? No. I've got a hard line down here that I can run from the opposite side of the basement to this side. I might have to do that. I bet you my son is on his Oculus, and that is why nothing is working. I wonder. It still says no connection. Type a comment if you can see me on TikTok. I don't know. The Wi-Fi's up. Colton, my son is eating. Okay. I don't know why it says no connection then. That's okay. We'll just keep going. We'll just pretend it's not even there. So if you can see me on TikTok, awesome. It is what it is. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, sometimes you have good streams and sometimes you have bad streams. Not the end of the world. These are 12 gauge rings, and they are, just being aluminum, they are difficult to work with. Like, these pliers are toothless, and so I am not scratching them up. But I could use a little bit larger pair of pliers for this. All right. So, moving on. Super cool work. Thank you, Arkstar. We just got done, just finished this up tonight. And it's kind of all right. It's kind of something. Now we're putting this back together. Got like really gunky for some reason. I'm not sure why. I took it apart to tumble it, and a bunch of the rings were not fitting, so I ordered some larger rings and am now putting it back together. Alright, so it's at least one person over on TikTok can see me. Arkstar, how are you tonight? There's the last time I tried to put this together, I was figuring it out. So I spent a lot of time staring at it because I really didn't know what I was making, right? This started out as the bottom end of a bag. Not bad, thanks for asking. You're welcome. Glad to hear. You like you show my face? Most mailer live streams only show their hands. That's because they're not as cool as me. But yeah, when I was first putting this together, I was staring at this for a long period of time, and then I remembered how to do this weave, and then it wasn't working, and well, then once I figured it all out, of course I felt like a moron. But it started out as like the bottom of a dice bag type thing. Then I ordered some more rings. I was going to make a bag out of it, and then it evolved into this like display stand that I should put something on top of. And so now, more on than off. What do you want me to take off? Or the stream is more on than off, I guess. That would probably make more sense. Art is always evolving. Yeah. Well, that was this piece right here, right? This isn't anything. It's like just something I made. Okay? It was before I had this large chain going around the outside. It did match my logo almost perfectly, right? So this started out as a small square, then it was two small squares interlocked, and I didn't like any of it, and I kept working on it and then setting it aside, and finally tonight, like, I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. So I think it's an important understanding that people have. It's like, you may not be able to make it work the first time, but second, third, or fifth time, maybe, you know, it'll all work out, right? How many hours do I have into this? So there's just in the center there's 4,700 rings, right? And at my fastest, when I'm really cranking stuff out, I can do about 300 rings an hour. So like 4,700 divided by 250, whatever that is probably, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 16. Probably somewhere between 16 and 20 hours. But I've like built pieces of it and taken it apart and built it and taken it apart and, you know, somewhere in there. And now it's going to take up space on the window ledge that I have all my stuff on next to my bar. I'm just glad that I worked on it to the point where, like, it's finished in my eyes. right? I won't ever change anything on it ever again. Because I have a tendency to... There's two schools of thought, right? Do you attempt something and then, if it doesn't work, set it aside and try again another day? Which a lot of people do. Nothing wrong with that. Mine is I work on stuff until I make it work. And that may require setting it down a few times, but I'm not going to leave it if I don't like the way it looks. You can't set it aside? Yeah. Yep, I get it. It's an issue. Yeah, I'll get to a point where I'm working on something, and if it's just not working out, screw it. Let me set it down for a while, and I'll come back to it later. Because I've got other stuff that I have to do. But other than that, I'm pretty obsessive about working on stuff. Like, I've been doing this for quite a while now, and fortunately, my family is still here. They still love me, but you just push forward and mess it up. That's fine. Like, once it's officially messed up, can you move on from that and just try again another day? Excuse me. Alright, what am I missing something here? There's only 3 rows here, so there's another ring there that I'm missing. Okay. Nope, start over probably another day. Okay. Everybody's got their, different methods of how they get stuff done. There's no, right way to do it. Except there is a right way to do this, and I think I just screwed it up. Or I don't have enough rings on this side. I don't have enough rings on that side. Your hobby is precision machining? I have a couple friends that are precision machinists. That makes some pretty cool stuff. Did that work? Oh, I see. Okay. Oh. Yeah, okay. Sorry. Had to figure out what I was doing wrong. Oh, where? You the one that invented the jelly cube out of the mesh? I have made a large jelly cube. I didn't invent it. How you doing, Josh? I wish I was smart enough to come up with inventions like that, but maybe one day. Come on. What? That's got to be so much funnier. What, that I didn't invent it? I don't follow. Okay, come on, you stink thing. These are 12 gauge rings, 3/8 of an inch in diameter. They are a pain in the butt with these pliers that I have. So you know how like the textures what you kill for in a fidget? Yeah. They're great fidget toys. I wish I could make a million more. If I could do nothing but make fidget cubes all day long, right? I would, but this is 14,000 some odd rings right now, and that's 80 to 100 hours. No problem, friends call me Hazy. So I can't just, I'm going to make this larger too. But I can't just work on jelly cubes all day long, no matter how much I want to. 80 to 100. Sorry, 80-100. Does that make more sense? Yeah, I just spent the last 4 years of my life working solely on this jelly cube there. You got it priced just right? Yeah. If I were to sell this one right now, it's 14 by 14 by 14, right? So each row is 2 layers, and there's 14 rows on height, length, and width, right? And so this would be about $2,000. By the time I'm done with it, taking it out to 20 by 20 by 20, I would charge about $10,000 for it. And that's like all in time. So it's going to take me about 300 hours to build it out. 6 more rows on each side. What's going on, Justin? How you doing? I got your stuff getting in line to be completed here. All right. So I'm going to leave those out of there for right now. Yeah. No, that was right the first time. Oh, and even if once I get this cube, right? Even if I had an offer for $10,000, I'd be really hesitant to sell it. Just because I would have to make a new one. I don't want to do that. There it is. Looking for the connection point. Is that even the right? Yeah, okay. Sorry, just making sure I'm doing this correctly. The ultimate fidget toy going for 10,000. Do I hear 10,000, 11,000? Do we have 13,000? Yeah, exactly. It's one of those things where you make them large enough, eventually someone will pay a ridiculous amount for them, right? And so you'll almost never see another one of these out in the wild anywhere, just because people rarely make them this big, just because they are so time consuming. So someone, if you just have a booth set up somewhere, someone will come along and be like, yeah, okay, I'll pay you that much for it. It'll take forever to find that person and match it up to that item, or match them up with that item, but auction it. I thought about making another one. I've got a smaller one around here somewhere that I have a lot of rings coming in. And thank you for the share. So I want to make another large cube and raffle that off, because I think that will give someone a better opportunity who can't pay $2,000 to $3,000 for a cube, you know, to have a chance to win one. But I have not made that decision. Do I want to make one large cube or a bunch of small cubes? Because I could also just make another large cube and keep it for myself. Yeah, out in the wild. This could be pieces for art. Yes. The cubes, especially... So this is bright aluminum, right? The next cubes I want to make are going to be in stainless steel or titanium. A lot of people make them in anodized aluminum with colors, and those, they do all sorts of cool patterns and designs and everything. And like, this is just obstinate stubbornness I'm going to add to this project, right? This isn't skill necessarily. I'm terrible with colors, so I don't work with them very much. But the girls that make the anodized aluminum jelly cubes, like, they're really cool. So not only do you have the cool fidget toy, but it's got some color and it's awesome. So you can't, you mean anodizing? So I've got some titanium. I have a cube that I'm going to anodize at some point, and a titanium dice bag. And I am hopefully going to be set up to anodize titanium by the end of this year. And I will make stuff out of titanium and anodize it. And I will make riveted chainmail and welded chainmail and have my own coiling and cutting setup going. And it's in the works. It's all being put together slowly. And I'm slowly getting through these basement projects, because my goal is next year to be a one-stop shop. If you need a type of chainmail made, not only will I offer it, take commissions on it, and be able to supply that for people, but I'll be able to do it all from the confines of my small basement. And I'll be working on my own art projects as well. So these are bright aluminum from chain-reaction.ca, currently up out of Canada. And I don't have a discount code from them yet. I'm hoping to get one soon. But I've gotten all the bright aluminum, this cube, these rings these other larger size rings that I bought are all from them. So, excuse me. So if you want to know more about chainmail manufacturers, can't see this again. You're very welcome. Okay. And do that over here. So if you want to go and explore other chainmail suppliers, In the link tree in my bio is links to the Mailworks app. It's available on Google and Apple. And inside there is a list. There's a suppliers tab, and then under the suppliers tab is about 12 chainmail ring manufacturers, and I would order from all of them. I know of one more that's not listed in Australia. I haven't had a chance to contact them or ask them if I could add them yet. So, but that's what, I'm a good dude. Thanks, man. I try to be. I mean, the whole like reason I do this is, I won't say it's nefarious, but it is of self-interest, right? For starters, I want to introduce people to the fact that you can make chainmail at home. The second reason is I design and sell chainmail themed apparel, and I want people to buy it. So, like, it's not all what's the word? Selfless. That begins with an A. A steward something. I'll think of it after I'm done streaming. Right? Was that what the issue was? No. It's like this. Ah, there it is. No, I don't like the way this is laying. Sorry, trying to find where to start connecting these is... That's more like it. A sheet of this, and then we'll fold it into a burrito and close it up. Austerity. Is it austerity? I think it's austerity. I think that was the word I was looking for. But it is a sincere desire to teach other people that they can learn how to make chainmail and make it comfortably in their own home. And also go buy my stuff. So I want to make another app, but I've got it's super niche. It's for inlays and images, and one day that one I don't like. I do like $1 download or a $5 download, because that one's bit more expensive. So I wonder how much it would cost. Anyway, the current method for... So I started on an inlay like 20 years ago, and I had a big problem finishing it, and I'm really close, but I ran out of rings, so I got to order some more. But my struggle was that I was freehanding the inlay, and I just kept psyching myself out. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I kept putting time and effort into it and not getting good results. So I want to have an app built, or to design an app where people can upload photos to an inlay, or upload a design, or design an inlay in the app, and it will spit out like how many rings you need in each color, and give you the ability to print out like all of the sections of the inlay. So one day I wonder if I should go find someone to talk to about pricing that out, because it might be cheaper than I actually am aware of. I don't know though. We'll see. That's cool. You really want to learn more? Right on. Well, I mean, like I said, first place to start is download the Mailworks app, right? And just peruse all the resources in there. Before you order anything from anyone, my recommendation is that you go to one of the larger companies and order yourself a kit. Don't buy specialty pliers or anything, but get a kit and see if you like it. See if you want to learn more. Depending on how much you're willing to spend, you can check out the kit from Chainmail Joe. It's got a bunch of different ring sizes. It's got a bunch of instructions on different weaves, all built into the kit. And it's a great starter kit, right? I would recommend doing that as opposed to going to a supplier and ordering ring sizes that you don't really know how they work together, right? And then understanding the difference between American wire gauge and standard wire gauge, and knowing what companies use what, because every manufacturer is just a little bit different. Where are we at it? Blah, 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 da, da, da. Alright, let's come along. Yeah. You want to make chain scrubbers? I've made one of those in the past, but they manufacture and sell those. That's a pretty basic thing to make. Comments that someone wants, they use a cube as a scrubber. I could understand if it was like a couple layers thick, right? But don't make a cube and then oh yeah, there you go. Oh no, no. Everybody's got to start somewhere, and by all means, I mean, like I said, take my opinion with a grain of salt. You can do whatever you want, but they do make pot scrubbers. So if you're going to make them, just make them nicer than what they sell in the store. And if you think I'm next level, download the Mailworks app, go to the groups section, and go and join all the groups and check out all the stuff they make in there, because, yeah, okay, I kind of make some cool stuff every once in a while. However, that group churns out, or those groups churn out some of the most jaw-dropping stuff in the world of chainmail that it's amazing. It's like once a week someone's dropping something ridiculously epic, and you're like, God, I'm kind of okay at this, and I've been doing it for a really long time, but I never would have thought of doing it that way, So it's like the coolest contribution I've done to the chainmail community is make print products with chainmail weaves on them, right? I've done some cool projects in my time, for sure, but there's another piece in here that I made, and I'm just trying to make it so everything is put back together the way I tore it apart. However, it is 10 o'clock, and I've got to make sure that some stuff gets done before I head to bed tonight. So if you are interested in learning how to make chainmail, please go to the link tree in my bio and download the Mailworks app. There's a bunch of resources in there that I wish I would have had 28 years ago when I first got started. Please follow me on other social media platforms. I'm currently streaming to YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and X. Go to pick one, find my username. It's the same on every platform, and subscribe, follow. Helps me grow, especially if TikTok goes away, right? That'll be problematic. So please go follow me in other places as well. If you want to support me, please go to my website. It's myusername.com, mailworks.com, mail-themed apparel and accessories, and that's how I earn my living. So with that, thank you everyone for hanging